welcome to episode 6 of Soap Talks. We're here with you today with great stuff as usual. This one's going to be a packed episode, but it's going to be a quick episode. So let's go ahead and get started with Dianete. Dianete, Paul.
Thanks, Ryan. We've got a great agenda, a little bit interactive today too. We'll be rolling out, as promised, our tutorial for how to make COVID-19 masks. We've purchased materials for reusable cloth masks, and we'll be asking all of our chapters to do the same or to reach out to us for coordination. And we'll show you how to make some of those masks here today. We also have a lot of news today during our Tanea segment. Obviously, we had our COD for COVID tournament. We'll recap quickly, and then we'll close it out as usual with Atletica and Giro Giro. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. Just kind of a quick demonstration on how to make these masks. What you're going to need is just a few supplies, actually. The only things you should really have to buy are some cloth fabric, and again, we'll be reaching out exactly how this is about. The whole thing costs about 85% per mask to make, so they're pretty cheap and pretty effective, all things considering. And the only thing you'll probably really need to buy are some cloth fabric. Make sure it's tightly woven so that it actually keeps out, it actually prevents any droplets or vapors from spreading, and some elastic bands, craft elastic bands. You can get both of these things on Amazon. Please reach out to us and we'll be happy to coordinate the shipment of these things to you. And then the only thing else you'll need are some scissors, some measuring tape, and a pencil. And we'll start really quickly here. What you're going to do is you're going to take your cloth and you're going to measure out using this measuring tape a 15 inches by 15 inch square. That's what we've kind of determined through some trial and error. We'll take, that's what's going to cover the full face to make sure you're getting maximum protection. We have, pre-measured over here. If you can see this pencil, just so you can get an idea for what 15 inches looks like on the cloth. You'll measure it out and then you'll cut these squares. And of course we have a pre-cut square right here, 15 by 15 inches. What you're going to do from there, after that, it gets pretty simple. You're going to take your elastic bands and you're going to once again, and we'll go ahead and move the camera down here so you can see, we're going to once again measure out 15 inches on this elastic band. So you're going to take your 15 inches, make your mark here.
Now, is this a number 2 pencil, Paul?
This is a number 2 pencil. This is not a Scantron though, so we will accept number 1s, mechanicals, pens, Sharpies, anything that will leave a mark. I prefer pencils because mistakes can be made, and it's always great to be able to erase things. But if you're feeling a little confident in yourself, maybe you're one of those people that does crosswords with pens because you just feel confident, by all means go for it. Go ahead and mark it in any way that's necessary. But we'll go ahead and take, so you'll see we have our 15-inch long elastic band here. And you're going to go ahead and tie this into a knot. Now, this knot's called a taut line hitch. It's a little bit of a variation because it's been a long, long time since I've been in the Boy Scouts, but the theory still holds that you'll go ahead and take your band, and I'll try to move into here, and overlap it with each other. You're going to come around once, come around twice, and we'll have to make this a little longer here. That's the key here with these knots, is to make sure you have a good bit of room to be able to move accordingly. So you'll come around once, twice, and then you'll bring the remainder down here, come through the back and up through the loops that you just made. So if we pull this tight here, you'll just take both ends here, if you can see, pull these tight, and what you'll essentially have is a loop that is adjustable. So you'll see we can actually make the loop bigger, or we can make the loop smaller to fit different size faces. So we've got some pre-tied loops as well here. What you're going to do now is you're going to take your pre-cut cloth and you're going to fold it into the middle once. I believe this is called the hamburger fold in elementary schools around the country. And you're going to fold it again, same way. And
Must be an American thing.
That's across the country. We cannot speak for our Canadian or Greek members. So you'll have your pleated side here, which is the side that you folded. You'll flip it over to the flat side, and this is where you're going to take in your two bands. You're going to take in one band on this side, and the other band on this side, and you're going to fold over the bands. So you'll end up with what is a mask for you to use. And we'll go ahead and bring this back up, and you'll be able to see. It's a little tough with the headphones, but to demonstrate, like we said, it's a little bit difficult with the headphones, but you'll see we've got now a mask that you'll put the pleated side on the outside, and you'll have your adjustable bands here to be able to adjust to put around your ears.
Wow.
The good thing about this is once you take the bands off, you can actually reuse this, throw it in the washing machine and wash it by hand, and you have a reusable clean cloth to use every time you go out. So again, adjustable bands, reusable cloth, all for the low cost of 85 cents per mask. So we're hoping that this allows us to be able to make a lot of these and donate these to places in need, places that are experiencing shortages, and there you have it.
That is absolutely fantastic. A quick and easy way to help out not only yourself, but other people that are in need. Again, 85 cents American, of course. I think that's like 50 bucks Canadian. That is a great price. Thank you, Paul. Before we get on to Tanea, I want to ask a question that just came up in my mind. If you fold something in half horizontally, what do you guys, or not horizontally, I guess vertically, where like the two bigger sides are coming together, what is that called in Canada?
Folding something?
It's clearly called hot dog style, and I don't understand.
Hot dog or hamburger? Like folding?
Hot dog, maybe. I think I've heard of hot dog. So
Okay, what about the other? Like, if you don't fold it hot dog, what's the other one called? All right, well, I guess we'll never know what it's called in Canada. Anyways, we're going to go on to Tanea with Tim.
So we're going to start off with some little disappointing news, but we finally heard a final answer about convention, and unfortunately that is canceled at Disney. But we are working on an alternative, and Ryan, put that hat back on. And the alternative will hopefully, we'll keep you guys all posted, and we'll hopefully have something soon. If you have any questions, please reach out to us, district governors, chapter presidents, in terms of organizing district conventions as well. If you're not virtual yet, we can help out with that. I believe, as Paul mentioned before, we have a Zoom account we can set up to use for your district. So please reach out if there are any questions. On to some other news. This past weekend, we had our COD for COVID tournament, and it was, I'd say, a great success. What about you guys? Yeah?
Enjoyed it.
It was
other than
a
our
great time.
team, yeah, it was a great success.
Hit your shots.
Everyone else had fun.
On top with their first place, and Team Havoc came second. So congrats, boys. And because of all the excitement, we set up another Call of Duty tournament coming up this weekend. I believe we have 5 spots remaining.
3 now, actually. We had 2 teams register today, and actually I think Team KEO guaranteed to come back. So now only 2 spots left as we record now.
Wow.
So it's filling up again pretty quickly. Right now we have 10 teams. We may expand to 12 like we did for this past weekend. So get those names in very quickly if you can.
So there will be some changes to this tournament, though. We are planning to do it Call of Duty League style. So there will be restrictions to the classes and everything based on feedback we had. So we're adapting, right? So maps and everything will be released in the coming days, and just stay posted on that. And finally, some last news. We have Greeks in Quarantine scheduled for June 20th. Unfortunately, we've had to cancel our last 2 basketball tournaments, so we figured this is a great way for us to get together with everyone and set up something special.
Now, I'm a big fan of themes, everyone, and I think maybe Greeks in Quarantine could be a little bit themed. I know our president's party last year was USA versus Canada, and it was a great hit. So I think maybe we continue on that. Let's think of a theme for this Greeks in Quarantine, and to all our viewers and supporters, if you guys have any ideas for some themes you'd like to see come out of us on these virtual social networking, please go ahead, comment below, direct message us, and maybe we can go ahead and implement some of those ideas.
We are anxious to hear about them. Oh, do we already have one from our
Well,
local?
like a Disney theme. I feel like a lot of people could catch.
A little too soon, maybe, but that's one of those.
The wound is still fresh. Sorry,
my heart still hurts a little bit, but maybe once we heal, we can. So is that it for Taneo over there, Tim? I think we've had a pretty packed couple weeks, but it sounds like we've recapped pretty quickly.
That is it.
From sadness, a bit more sadness. On in the sports world.
Actually, for once, it's not all postponed. We've had a few things resume. UFC, I don't know if you guys watched that the other weekend, had their first live fights. No fans. And it was actually a completely different experience. I'll be honest, I may have enjoyed it more than fully packed with fans. Not only can you hear the slaps and the punches, but you can hear the coaches going against each other and telling their players what to do. And it's actually quite interesting to listen to and kind of see the strategy that goes into UFC and not just putting each other into chokehold and making each other bleed out kind of thing. There is a lot of strategy involved. You hear a lot more of the ground move. It's very different. NASCAR also did no fans this past weekend. Golf did a driving relief. They were able to raise $5 million with TaylorMade and United Health for COVID relief. It was 4 guys. It's the first time you've ever seen a PGA player in shorts, usually carrying their own bag. There was no caddies, nothing like that, no fans. But all towards a great cause. They were able to raise $5 million. NBA is doing talk. NHL is doing talk. MLB is doing talk. Everyone's trying to figure out how they can go back. And it seems the general consensus is they don't care if there's fans. They just want the sports back. And that's also evident in soccer leagues in Europe that are starting up again. Bundesliga had their first matches over the weekend. It's always good to see favorites like Bayern Munich out there playing again. They had what they call like fake fans, and they just had pictures of fans in the stands. That's what they did to Greece a few times when they would riot and cause so much shit in their games. They would ban their fans for like half a season. It was just pictures of fans. It was great.
Every Olympic.
Olympiacos and Panathinaikos, they had way too many arguments, banned fans multiple times. But yeah, it was just pictures of fans. To be honest, I don't care if there's no fans in there. It's kind of cool to hear it from a different side. Even with the golfing thing, like, it was cool to hear them talking. Like, they're all mic'd up. Maybe it's a different way to watch the sport too.
Cool.
Like the talk between them and like how they weren't giving each other putts and like how much money they made last year. Like, it was cool to watch. It's something to watch. I know it's not the sports we're used to, and usually this time of year is like NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, MLB is getting full force, PGA's in full force. So it's good to see some stuff start up again, but yeah, just that's all.
Good. Love surprising good news. That was fantastic. And from that note, we're going to end on a solid one. About 2 episodes ago, I believe we talked about doing a Yoro that involved things that we couldn't live without during quarantine, something that we're all going through, we're all experiencing in our own way. And so I've asked the guys to talk about 3 things that they could not live without. I will go ahead and say Xbox is not an acceptable answer because we've already discussed this. Neither are significant others. So any of you who have already picked one of those or 2 of those things, be thinking now while I share mine. First off, I'm going to talk about something that, not a lot of people may consider it essential in life, but I definitely do, and that's going to be my hammer. It's a fantastic tool that has allowed me to do many things, a lot of home improvement while I've been at home, stuck inside. You get a different angle, you get a different look at kind of how your house functions, and you realize, oh, like I could do this, but I don't have time normally. But now we're in quarantine. We have all the time in the world. We're always at home. I've made a couple doors. I've fixed a couple things. But throughout all of that, the hammer's been the one thing to kind of push me through that. The second thing I want to bring up is this. This is the Lawnmower 2.0. Manscaped has recently released their 3.0 model and is slightly better with a more ergonomic grip, flip resistant, but it still maintains the greater features, which are waterproof and there is no cord. It also comes with different size guards. So when I go to touch myself up during quarantine, because I'm not, oh, it doesn't look like that. I need to brush it, doesn't matter. When I'm not going to my barber shop because I don't want to get the Rona, I'm here cutting my own hair, which I believe most of us have a solid hand in at this point. Lastly, I'm going to bring up, this one's a little bit of a cop-out. It's a big one, but I put myself first, and I'm going to take advantage of that. But 100% going to be Amazon Prime / the Prime card. Highly recommend it. Getting a lot of points here. I'm in a highly populated, dense city. They deliver here like it's their job. I order something on Friday. It'll show up Sunday or Monday. Doesn't matter if it's the weekend, whatever day of the week it is. They bring it quick. I've been spending probably more money than I should have, but that doesn't matter because I'm happy. So let's go to, who wants to go next? Paul, are you ready?
It's not Ryan Thea this time, actually. I don't know who it is. Probably a spam call from Miami, which is interesting because we were just talking about no fans in sports stadiums, and it seems like the Miami Dolphins are calling. So my three things, let me think, because Ryan, you took away two of my three things very quickly between Xbox and my significant other, but that's fine. We'll adapt, improvise, overcome. And number one for me is going to be coffee, of course. It's basic, but it's true. I cannot get through these long work days and these long extracurricular days without a good bit of cup of coffee. It's probably a little more than I should have, but it's necessary. Another thing, number two, right here, my buzuki. Did I say I can play it well? Absolutely not. But I can play it during the workday, and it's great to be able to just kind of kick back, in between meetings, in between calls, and just kind of play around a little bit for a few seconds, learn some new songs, and maybe we'll see by the end of the summer, maybe we'll play something live on this podcast. No promises, but maybe if we're feeling a little crazy. And number three would have to be, I know it's a little basic, but my phone. I mean, it's great to be able to reach out to everyone, and I know communication hasn't been what it used to be, but still I don't feel like we've lost too much of a step in being able to communicate with our loved ones, FaceTime, text. And some people I've even reconnected with after a while that I haven't talked to in a bit because we have more time on our hands. So you reach out to an old friend and say, hey, hope you're doing okay in this crazy time. And you're able to reconnect, and, our phones allow us to be able to do that pretty easily. So those are my three things.
Tim, what do you got?
So I wouldn't say it's a great thing, but I know everyone is, we're always complaining about work and everything, but I think work is, one thing that I'm thankful for. It's kept me busy during quarantine. It's kept the money coming in too, which is always good to pay for those Amazon orders, which
Yes.
I've also been using and abusing a lot. But I think that's definitely one thing for me, just because, it's kept me really busy. My second thing would be my car. I can't bring it here for some show and tell, but I think it's one thing that also has kept me really busy. I love a little tinkering around with it. Just before this call, I was upstairs messing around with it. So it's definitely something that's important to me. And finally, I'm kind of surprised no one said it or anything, but maybe a little cheesy, but it's family. I've definitely spent more time with the family. And it's just made everyone closer, I think. I've been spending more time with my dad, and I know my sister has called a couple times just saying, oh, I miss just those brother-sister moments, or just randomly yell at you. So I think family is important to me. So, yeah.
That is adorable. Thank you, Tim, for sharing. Yanni, let's close this out.
I'm going to sound like a jerk now. My golf bag, my putting mat, and my golf membership. You guys said all the other good things, so...
I like how he just knocks them out. He's like, all right, you guys have gone. You talked forever. Boom, boom, boom. We're done. Simple.
Well, all those things that you guys have said are things that I couldn't do without. Like my car, I've been doing deliveries for the restaurant. Obviously, couldn't live with that. my laptop, my phone, so I can talk to you guys, so I can talk to the significant other, just so she doesn't think I forgot her when she watches this later. But yeah, like if it wasn't for my golf bag and my golf membership, I would literally go insane. If the golf courses were closed, I don't know what I would really do. So that's what I'm thankful for. And my family.
Fantastic.
Also,
Wow.
And my family.
Thank you, boys, for sharing. We do appreciate it. You at home, we'd love to hear from you. We're going to go ahead and wrap this episode up today. We've talked about all we're going to talk about. Hopefully you heard some good stuff. You got some news. You got what's going on. You got some sports. And you got to hear from us. But now we want to hear from you. Like Paul mentioned earlier, we're looking for a theme. We want a theme for Greeks in Quarantine. And we're looking to you. So like you said, DM, comment down below, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, whatever's easier for you. We even have a Snapchat. Snap us. We don't care. We'll see it wherever you send it. The other thing that we want to hear about is, what's helping you through quarantine. If you want to send us a list of 3 items, and maybe we'll share them. And lastly, we also want to hear, and I just forgot it, and it's going to come back to me in 3, 2, 1. We want to hear what you want to see from us. There it is. Almost got me there, kids. Not quite. We're slipping. Slipping like soap, but we'll get to that in a minute. We want to hear what you want to see from us. We've been talking about quarantine. We've been talking about our communities, and we're all going through it. And we're trying to do, our part and help y'all do yours. But the good thing is this is not going to last forever. And we may not be at the end of the light, at the end of the tunnel and with the light, but we're on our way. So going forward, we're going to keep doing these, whether you want us to or not. But we want to hear what you want to see. Maybe some challenges. Maybe we'll bring back the cinnamon challenge, the ramen challenge, whatever it is. We want to hear from you. Don't forget, let us know if you want to get some material and learn how to make the mask. This video was very helpful, so thank you, Paul, for that. Thank you, boys. We hope you are all staying safe, happy, and healthy. And as always, stay soapy. Podcast!